Daily Musar. Something that is quite common today and is not to have any busha, any embarrassment, no guilt. It used to be that guilt was a motivator. People felt guilty, felt this, so it motivated them to become better. Today, don't use guilt as a motivator. And is it good or is it bad? And it goes like this. Everybody has a Yetzer Hara and Yetzer Tov. Everybody has a good urge and a bad urge to do bad things. So when a person, we call him a tzaddik, a righteous person, he just has a Yetzer Hara and Yetzer Tov just like anybody else. Well, what makes him a tzaddik? What makes him a tzaddik is the fact that he's aware that there is that what he wants or what is bad, and he makes a conscious decision not to do it because he's embarrassed by it or because he feels guilty. And the embarrassment is not always by, be embarrassed by a person to a person, but it's between you and God. Today there's no embarrassment. It's all okay. People come out in the open and they say things that's like, hello? It's just embarrassing what people talk about. And it's embarrassing to me. Sometimes people tell me things like, I don't feel comfortable listening to it. Why are you telling me that? I don't want to hear it. It really becomes a problem. So it goes like this. And a person, therefore, is a tzaddik who is also wise. Ma'arim, he puts obstacles in the way of the Yetzer Hara, of those urges or his desires or ta'avot. And I'm going to tell you, I was reading on Shabbat, going over, I love to read the Rambam, Guide to the Perplexed. It is so amazing, the wisdom of this man. It is amazing what he talks about desires, and he talks about how we operate. It's really, as they say, a disgrace to the human race. And so, therefore, Chacham puts obstacles. Lasot dvarim be'orma is to be clever about, or leha'arim, kshaim, is to pile obstacles. So you have to do things in a wise way, and in a way you have to put obstacles from those ta'avot to happen, because if you don't do it, imagine you're trying to come down on a rope, from, let's say, a helicopter or something like this, but when you have grease on your hands, now you're going to go all the way down. You're not going to be able to stop. There's no control over that. Okay? Once you started the process and there's no grip, you have grip of the situation, and sometimes the grip will be just on the highest level will be pure common sense. If a person is really in control of his psyche, his mind, he would just think it. He would say, what's the point of that? He would understand the inferiority of desires that we obsess ourselves with, to the point, it really becomes an obsession. Especially when it comes to food and sex and so on, it is, or honor to that man, it is an obsession. And you can control it. And once you start with it, it's all gone. It's impossible to stop. Not to be rude or improper, but I want to see a person who's really hungry, who's coming to a plate, is really hungry, hasn't eaten all day, and his stomach is, take a bite, and then put it to the side and say, I'm not eating anymore. I want to see the person who would be, of course, in a permissible way with his wife, of course, only in an intimate way. Then he say, you know what? It's okay. I had enough. I'm going to sleep. You can't. You can't do that. And if you do, you reach a mastery over yourself, and that's a level to be in. Most people can't. 99.99% of the people can't. So therefore, since you know you cannot, put obstacles and be very wise about that matter. Since you cannot engage in an intellectual reasoning why I cannot do that, you don't see it. You at that point you lost everything. You are again not operating on what is a real full-scale human being. Look, people were governors, presidents, and it came to sex. Goodbye, good luck. The KGB knew it. Give you free food, give you free girls, and you were theirs. That's what you're most vulnerable at. So therefore, a person needs to do that b'chokhmah. Because if you don't do that, and especially when you remove the bullshit, no bullshit salamat, the bullshit like the busha, the embarrassment, right? You don't need to do such a, if you have embarrassment, okay, so I'm embarrassed, I'm not going to do that. But that by itself it's not enough, because I could remove the busha. I can say, you know what? It's not politically correct to be embarrassed about everything. I'm really in touch with myself, and therefore I am not embarrassed, and I'm going to tell you all the fields that I want to tell you. And one needs to be very careful about this, because it is very simple. All these things at the end, and especially since we are so vulnerable about that. If you think about the reasons, why did HaKadosh Baruch Hu had to create food with flavor? Why did HaKadosh Baruch Hu had to make sex so pleasurable? Because if you would just honestly sit down and think about this, you would not do it. When you think of the process of eating, what we do to the food, it is horrendous. Like, what's the difference between me and a cow that chews its cud? So if it wasn't so good, in a way I'm bribing myself. Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us sechel to think. Unfortunately, maybe in this case, Baruch Hashem, most people don't think. But to those who think, He gave us the flavor in a way to bribe ourselves so we'll be able to eat, and so on and so forth. And that's why I'm saying to you, when it comes to do a mitzvah, if you would develop your own spiritual sense, your spiritual self, you would teach yourself, and you would learn, and you would experience the sweetness of mitzvot, the sweetness of Torah. When you learn Torah and you have this feeling of you, this is good. If you were ever very, very thirsty, on a hot, sweaty day, like today, 95 degrees, feels like 105, 90% humidity, and you were sweating and you're hot, you come home and you open a cold bottle of beer, and you drink it and you go, what do you go? If you haven't felt this, when you learn Torah and you do mitzvot, you're missing on something. All the Torah and all the mitzvot are sweeter than honey. They're sweeter than nectar. If you haven't felt that, you have to stop and ask yourself, why? Why eating is so... Why did I need to eat? Why did HaKadosh Baruch Hu did not give me such noticeable flavor in doing mitzvot? Because they're sweet by themselves, don't need it. But I am, like the same way as I'm congested when I have a postnasal drip and my nose is stuffed, I don't taste anything, I don't want to eat. We suffer from a postnasal spiritual drip. We have spiritual sinusitis. We can't taste anything. So that's why a person needs to do tricks. And to do so, you need to enhance your spiritual immune system and elevate yourself up and teach yourself in what the Ashkenazim call the geschmack. It's sweet. It's delicious. You're learning some chidush of Torah. You're learning a new thing. It's sweetness. Teach yourself in the sweetness of Torah. Be a Torah connoisseur. You'll be a person who can tell you the fragrance of the Torah, and so on and so forth. And Be'ezrat Hashem, that sweetness will help us elevate ourselves to the level we should really deserve to be because of the Torah, and the level we should really be. And this will help us do tikkun olam, to fix the world. Amen.